Hello, everybody. Welcome to LDS Singles Anonymous. Today, we're going to make a nice short podcast for you to answer a viewer's question. Are you ready for the viewer's question?
I'm nervous.
I'm very nervous, too.
But excited that we got one.
Yes? This was our first viewer's question. We're going to answer our very first viewer's question. We are going to simplify it. We are going to generalize it so it hits... It was a very specific question. We're going to make it hit a little bit more to
Is it like
everybody.
the first $1 bill at the restaurant getting framed up there?
It is going to be framed.
Okay, perfect.
This is our frame.
All right.
The question is, I have an individual who is very interested in me, follows me at all the activities, and creeps me out. So how do I tell this individual, please stop, in a way that won't hurt their feelings, but that can set some boundaries so I can live my life? First of all, have you ever seen that? You ever seen that?
Yes.
A single scene where somebody just kind of just like, no, I'm going to get... So I've seen it. I've had it happen to me. It's not a good thing.
It's not fun at all.
No. So how would you answer that question?
Well, I think we could dig down to the root of why it's a question in the first place. And I think, speaking from a female perspective, but in general, we are taught to be Christ-like, to be welcoming, to be loving, to not be mean. And telling someone no, putting up a boundary feels mean because it might hurt someone. And so going down to the root of it, maybe we just feel it's not nice to say no.
Well, how do we keep a boundary for ourselves? Because if we let our boundaries crumble because we feel like we're being nice, we're losing our own happiness. Mm-hmm. So how do we keep our boundary without hurting someone's feelings?
I'm going to have to think about that for a minute.
It's a question.
Well, I think part of it is recognizing that it's okay to disappoint people. Mm-hmm. And that's part of life. It's part of, setting boundaries can be disappointing to people. But when you're not doing it with the intent to hurt someone, right? This is about you and creating your space. This isn't about shaming them for being creepy. This is about, I am not comfortable with this and it is affecting how I live my life, right? And I want you to be the best you that you can be. Mm-hmm. But that also but I also need to establish that cannot involve this behavior towards me.
Right.
So
I think it's important to know that you're not responsible for other people's feelings. I'm not saying we should just be mean and, it's your fault if you got offended. But I am going to try to be kind. I'm going to try to be polite and friendly. But me setting up a boundary is not mean, because ultimately me not putting up that boundary does you a disservice, and it also does me a disservice. Right. And so I am not responsible if after I did my best, you were feeling hurt, sad, or offended, or however you're feeling. I feel like as long as you're doing your best to be polite about it and kind, then you're not responsible for the other person's feelings.
I think we need to be very clear. My answer to this would be, you need to sit down with the individual and say, let's talk about this. I am not going to be your romantic interest. I want different things, whatever. I do not mind speaking with you. I do not mind you being at the same activity as me. I do mind when you start following me around. I do mind when you keep pressing that question. Here's my answer to the question. If it's ever going to change, I'll let you know, but it's probably not. Please just give me a little bit of space at the activities, and I'm fine if you're there. And if we're sitting at the same table, we can all have a nice conversation. Don't think that tomorrow I'm going to say, oh, yes, I do love you. Thank you for, keep at it for so long, blah, 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 you know, that weird Hollywood movie that the
weird.
person
He was just so
kept at it,
persistent.
kept at it, and finally they said yes.
Finally, I said yes.
But
No.
can we just have that discussion, be straight up front with them and say, okay, from here on out, I will let you know when you're crossing the boundary, but we can still be friends. We can still hang out at the same activities. I'm not going to be your romantic interest, and please give me a little bit of space. That would be my answer.
Yeah, I would agree. Being clear and being, I think on the one side, the person setting the boundary needs to be okay saying no, needs to understand that that is healthy and important to do, but you need to also accept that even Christ said no. If Christ can say no, we can say no, and it's not a bad thing. So no is an appropriate answer.
Right.
The other side, the person receiving the no needs to accept no as an appropriate answer.
Right.
They need to
final answer.
As a final answer, it can be a complete sentence. No, period. That's acceptable.
Right.
And they need to respect the other person's ability to say no. That is the whole point in us being here on this earth, is to have agency. And if me being persistent and chasing Buzz down at all the activities because someday he's going to say yes to me, removes his ability to make a decision on his own. And I'm removing his ability to have that agency.
Yeah.
And to the people who are the pursuers in these situations, I mean, one thing I would say is to have enough self-respect to not persist or pine or, you know, or continue pursuing someone who's just not interested. You know, you deserve to be with someone who does reciprocate that interest. And you and like the others were saying, you have enough respect for them to not think that you're going to change their mind. Yeah, you can just take the L and move on with your life, and yeah, have enough self-respect to do that.
I was watching the most popular podcast in the world the other day, and the person that holds the podcast, not going to say any names, and the person that they were inviting there to discuss a topic said, I think the most important thing in this life is to learn how to lose. Just to learn how to lose.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a shame that you know, our 5-year-old basketball and our soccer teams, we said, okay, we're not keeping score anymore, and everybody gets the same ribbon at the end of the day. I think that we need to learn to lose at 5 and at 7 and at 9.
Yeah.
I think the worst time to lose is there is one position that's open at that company that I want. There's 9 of us going for it. Only one's going to get it. That means there's 8 people losing. That's the wrong time to lose.
Yeah.
To learn how
Everybody
to
wants
lose.
to take the one girl to prom. That's the wrong time to learn how to lose.
Yeah.
I think those are the people that go home and go, I'm
Not that women are
suicidal.
prizes to be won to be taken to prom anyway,
Right.
but
I think that's when people end up suicidal and think about doing harm to other people. Well, that's the wrong time to learn to lose. We need to learn how to lose. In single life, in life. Sometimes you're going to go out for that and it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. Kind of.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we watch sports. And we watch the Final Four. We watch 64 teams in March Madness. 64 teams come into this basketball tournament. How many teams leave on a loss? 63? 63 teams, no matter how good you did. 63 of 64 teams leave on a loss. You got to learn how to lose. Like you're saying, take your L and move on.
yeah, and it doesn't. Yeah, and taking the L is not a reflection of who you are or your worth as an individual being.
Right.
You know, and again, in our LDS vernacular, you are a child of God of infinite worth, right? And just because someone said no to your romantic interest, that does not change your worth or your value. Even though, you know, sometimes we put way too much emphasis on that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And right along with that, you could be wrong for them for reasons that you have no control over. I knew somebody that said, I would not date you, no way, no way, no way. I'm like, why? You're too tall. Okay. Well, thanks for saying that, because you're telling me, no. And that's kind of like, Too tall. Okay. All right. Well, I guess I can see that. It's not something I'm going to be changing. I'm not a lesser person because you said no, because I'm too tall. And these people aren't saying, you're an awful human being, get away from me. They say, you just don't fit with me. Take the no, take the loss, go home. It's all right.
Yeah, and it's important to develop an identity as your own person and to not have your entire self-worth built on, am I dating, am I married, am I in a relationship of some kind? Because, and I know that the church emphasizes that, and I think that, sure, like if that, going after it is not a bad thing, but when that is, like that everything is riding on that, and if you don't have it, then you're worthless and you're useless. Whereas if you think of yourself as a complete being who likes to read or has a job that they like, or maybe you don't like and you want to work on fixing that, whatever it is, all these aspects of your personality and who you are important factors. And so when you have friends, when you have a complete identity that it's not based on one thing, then when that one thing doesn't work out, you're not a mess and everything is over and you're having a crisis, because that's one loss. And I've lost once, I'll lose a million times. There's so many things in my life that I will not accomplish, that I will not get, but that's okay because I'm a child of God. I'm a complete human being and I don't need someone else to come and fix me.
The people that say, I'll be happy when I finally find the right guy.
When?
Are the ones that are not happy when they find the right guy.
Yeah.
I'll be happy when I finally get married. I'll be happy when I finally am a dad. I'll be happy when. That is poison. Be happy now. Figure out a way. Whatever you've got to do, self-help books, listen to us a lot. We're going to be doing this a little bit more because I think we've got a really credible group of people. Yeah. But find how to be happy with you today. Be the best you that you can be, because the person that's happy as a single is going to be happy in a dating relationship. Nobody wants to be in a dating relationship with somebody that's miserable. So yes, find out how to be happy with you as a child of God and who you are in developing yourself today.
I agree. And on that pleasant and positive note, I think we'll cut this one. This will be the end. Thanks so much for watching our short little blurb. And we hope to hear from you and to see you next time.
So also give us your questions. If you have any more, start with a reader of your question. If you have any more of those, feel free to leave them in the comments, or we use the email address that we put in the description box.
Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. We are the LDS Singles Anonymous.
Bye.